The art of letting go. Imagine this. You're holding onto a thick rope, and someone is pulling it away from you with full force. You grip tighter, afraid to let go. The rope burns your hands. It cuts your skin. You're bleeding. But still, you won't let go. Why is it that we suffer more from holding on than we ever would from releasing? We hold on to people who've long walked out of our lives. We hold on to identities that no longer serve who we are becoming. We hold on to fears, to grudges, to expectations, as if clinging tightly could stop things from changing. But the truth is, everything changes. And the more we resist this truth, the more we suffer. Think about it. That relationship you begged to save. That dream job that slipped through your fingers. That version of yourself you tried so hard to protect. The tighter you held on, the more it hurt, didn't it? And yet, we call it love. We call it ambition. We call it hope. But often, what we're really practicing is attachment. The Buddha once said, "You only lose what you cling to." What if letting go isn't defeat, but a doorway? What if release is the real beginning of peace? In this journey, we're going to explore the silent chains we wear in our minds, the invisible threads of attachment that bind us to pain, longing, and illusion, and most importantly, we will learn how to live unattached, not as a way of escaping life, but as a way of embracing it more fully, more truthfully, and more freely, because before we can truly let go, we must first understand, what exactly are we holding on to? We say we want freedom, we say we seek peace, but how can we ever be free, if we don't even see the chains? Attachment. It's not always loud, it doesn't always scream or shout, often, it wears the face of love. Sometimes, it sounds like ambition, other times, it hides behind responsibility. But the Buddha was clear, clinging is the root of suffering. So what exactly is attachment? Attachment is not love. It is the fear of losing love. Attachment is not purpose, it is the fear of being without one. Attachment is the silent belief, I am not okay without this. You see, the mind is constantly grasping for security in things that are, by nature, impermanent. We attach to people, hoping they will never change. We attach to youth, to success, to praise, to beauty. We even attach to our pain, because it feels familiar, and yet, everything we hold is slipping through our fingers. Nothing stays. Imagine trying to hold water in your hand. The tighter you squeeze, the faster it escapes. But when you open your palm, it rests there, peacefully, for a moment. Attachment is the squeezing, letting go is the open palm. In Buddhist teachings, attachment is called upadana, the mental fuel that feeds the fire of suffering. And it's not just about physical things, it's our identities, our beliefs, our judgments, our control. We attach to being right. We attach to being loved, we even attach to being spiritual. Psychology calls this ownership bias. Once we think something is mine, we overvalue it, we fear its loss, even when it no longer brings joy. Have you ever stayed in a relationship, a job, or even a version of yourself, simply because the idea of letting go felt scarier than the pain of staying? Ajahn Chah, a great Thai meditation master, once said, "If you let go a little, you'll have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you'll have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you'll know complete peace." So ask yourself, what in your life do you fear losing the most? What are you holding on to, not because it's good for you, but because you're afraid of what you'll be without it? Awareness is the first step, to see clearly, to name the chain. Only then can we begin to unbind it. And yet, even with awareness, we still resist letting go. Why? Because we forget a simple but powerful truth: nothing in this world stays. Nothing is permanent. Close your eyes for a moment, picture a cherry blossom, delicate, glowing, fleeting, it blooms in perfect beauty. And then, without warning, it falls. Nothing in this world stays. That is not a threat, it's not a curse, it is the most liberating truth you will ever hear. Impermanence, anicca in Pali, is one of the core pillars of Buddhist wisdom. Everything that arises, must eventually pass, every breath, every emotion, every success, every heartbreak, and yet we live as if things are permanent. We build castles on clouds, we invest our identity into shifting sands, we say, this is mine. This will last. This will never change. But everything changes, that's not just philosophy. It's physics. Think about your childhood home. Can you still smell it? Can you hear the voices that once filled its rooms? Maybe it's still standing, or maybe it's long gone, but either way, it has changed, and so have you. So much of our pain doesn't come from change itself, but from our resistance to it. We say, it shouldn't be this way. I want it back the way it was. Why did it have to end? But the seasons don't ask for permission to shift, nor does time wait for our approval. The Buddha taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. This isn't about being cold or uncaring, it's about learning how to love. Live, and let go, without clinging. In modern psychology, this is called non-attachment to outcome. It means showing up fully, loving fully, working fully, living fully, but without needing everything to go our way, because when we expect permanence in an impermanent world, suffering is guaranteed. The flower falls, the song ends, the tide returns to sea, and still, the beauty of it all remains untouched, not because it lasted forever, but because it didn't need to. What are you grieving today? A person? A place? A moment that slipped away? Can you sit with the truth, that nothing is meant to stay, not to punish you, but to awaken you, to this, now is all there is, and now is already passing. Once we see the truth of impermanence, we begin to loosen our grip. But what if we didn't just accept this truth? What if we could find freedom in it? Letting go, it sounds so simple, but to the heart that's been clinging for years, it feels like standing at the edge of a cliff with no wings, and yet, that very edge is where freedom begins. Take a breath, a real one, now exhale. That's letting go, that's all it is, not rejection. Not escape. Not numbness, just the natural release of what no longer serves you. In Buddhism, letting go is not weakness, it's not passivity, it is wisdom in motion. The Buddha didn't say, don't love. He said, don't cling. Because real love does not possess, real love gives space to breathe. Think of a bird resting in your hand. If you squeeze too tightly, you harm it. If you open your palm, it may fly away, but in that open palm, it may also stay, by choice, not force. That's the art of letting go, holding life gently, letting things come and go, without fear, without demand. But we've been taught the opposite. Society tells us to hold tight, fight for it, make it last. Don't let go. And so we live in anxiety, exhausted from chasing permanence in a world made of change. What if the freedom we long for isn't in holding on harder, but in holding on less? A lotus grows in muddy water. Its beauty comes not from clinging to the mud, but from rising through it. You don't need to erase the pain. You don't need to undo the past. You just need to rise above the grasping. Sometimes, letting go means walking away. Sometimes, it means staying, but dropping the need to control the outcome. Sometimes, it means grieving fully, and allowing that grief to open your heart, instead of closing it. Letting go is not about forgetting, it's about releasing the weight. And here's the miracle: when you truly let go, life flows again, joy returns, creativity awakens, love feels lighter. You don't lose yourself, you rediscover yourself. As Thich Nhat Hanh once said, letting go gives us freedom, and freedom is the only condition for happiness. If in our heart, we still cling to anything, anger, anxiety, or possessions, we cannot be free. So, what have you been holding too tightly? What burden have you carried long past its time? Can you loosen your grip, even just a little? That one breath, that one choice to release, could be the beginning of your liberation. And yet, even as we let go of what's outside us, we realize there's something deeper still, the attachments within. We've talked about letting go of people, of memories, of things we can touch and name, but what about what we can't see? What about the voice inside that says, "This is me. This is who I am"? What if the hardest thing to release is the self we've spent a lifetime clinging to? That is the ego, the ancient illusion whispering, "I am what I own. I am how they see me. I am this name, this role, this story." But are we, or are we something deeper, something vaster than identity? In Buddhist teachings, the self is not a solid thing, it's a flowing process, constantly changing, like a river. The Buddha taught Anatta, the doctrine of no self. Not that we don't exist, but that what we call self is not fixed, not separate, not eternal. The ego is a mask, and behind it is freedom. Think of all the pain we carry, not because of what happened, but because of what we made it mean about ourselves. I failed, therefore I am a failure. They left me, therefore I'm not lovable. These are not truths, these are ego narratives, stories the mind builds to feel in control, and they become our prisons. A man once came to the Buddha, trembling in sorrow. He said, "Master, I have lost everything. My name, my wealth, my honor." The Buddha looked into his eyes and said, "Then you are ready to be free." To let go of ego is not to become nothing, it is to become no thing, no longer confined to one identity, one label, one mask. It is to become spacious, open, alive. When the ego softens, presence awakens. In the absence of me, there is only this moment. So many of our conflicts come from defending the ego. We argue not to find truth, but to protect our image. We compare, compete, and chase status, not for joy, but to validate a fragile self-image that's afraid of disappearing. But the deeper truth, you can't lose what you never truly were. When we stop saying, "This is mine. This is me," and start asking, "Is this helpful? Is this true?" that we begin to wake up. Ajahn Chah, the Thai forest master, once said, "You see, in the end, it's all very simple. If you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you will have complete peace." So ask yourself, what self-image have you been guarding? What part of your identity have you been defending at all costs? Could you, just for a moment, drop the story? Could you meet life without a mask? That's where the ego begins to loosen, and where your true nature begins to shine. But even as we begin to loosen the grip of the ego, there's still one thread that pulls us back, the need to control life itself. You've loosened your grip on the ego, you've stepped out of the illusion of a fixed self, and now you stand at the edge of a deeper invitation to surrender. But wait, surrender, doesn't that mean giving up? Not at all. In Buddhism, surrender isn't weakness, it's the highest expression of strength. Think about how much energy we spend trying to bend life to our will. We micromanage our plans, we force relationships, we resist what is. And what does it bring us? Anxiety, exhaustion, frustration with life's unpredictability. The Buddha taught, everything that has a beginning has an end. Yet we try to hold on to the temporary. We want security in an impermanent world, control in a universe made of change. But this desire to control is the very thing that causes our suffering. Imagine a man caught in a river's current. He panics, flails, and fights the water, only to tire himself out and drown in resistance. But the one who floats, the one who trusts the flow, is carried safely downstream. That's the art of surrender. Surrender doesn't mean we stop acting, it means we stop resisting. We still show up, we still do our best, but we let go of the illusion that we can control the outcome. The Zen master Shunryu Suzuki once said, "Leave your front door and your back door open, allow your thoughts to come and go, just don't serve them tea." That is surrender, allowing life to move through you, without clinging or pushing. There's a story of a monk who lived in the mountains. One day, bandits came and stole everything from his hut. As they left, he smiled and whispered, "Ah, if only I could give them the moonlight too." He had nothing left, yet he was free, because his peace was not rooted in control, but in surrender. Can you imagine how light your heart would feel if you stopped trying to control how others see you? if you release the grip on how your future should unfold, this is not letting life happen to you. It's letting life happen through you. From force to flow. The next time plans change, pause. The next time life throws a curveball, breathe. Instead of asking, why is this happening? Try asking, what is this teaching me? That one shift can transform resistance into revelation. True surrender isn't passive, it's powerful, because when we stop clinging to control, we start trusting something bigger than ourselves, the rhythm of life, the wisdom of the present, the spaciousness of the now. So, where are you still holding on? What part of your life are you gripping too tightly? Could you, just for today, release your plans, your pressure, your push, and simply trust that life is unfolding exactly as it needs to, not according to your timeline, but according to a deeper harmony. You've come so far in this journey of release. You've let go of pain, ego, and the need for control, and now, we come full circle. We've arrived at the final step in this journey of letting go. You've released pain, you've let go of the ego, you've surrendered control, but now, there's one more layer to uncover, one final shift that will transform the way you experience the world. This is the art of living unattached, not detached, but unattached. To live unattached doesn't mean withdrawing from life, it doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means being fully engaged, without clinging to the outcomes. It means living with a heart wide open, yet holding nothing too tightly. Imagine a tree, its branches reach out to the sky, embracing the sunlight, the rain, the wind, yet it stands strong. Not because it holds on, but because it allows everything to pass through it. The tree is attached to nothing, but it lives fully, deeply. This is the way of the enlightened mind. It is not about abandoning life, but about embracing life without the fear of losing it. The Buddha said, attachment is the root of all suffering. But what if we shifted our understanding of attachment? What if attachment wasn't about clinging to people or things, but to expectations, to the need to control how everything turns out? What if, instead of attaching to an outcome, we simply gave our best in every moment, and let go of the need to dictate the results? There's a beautiful story of a great monk who was traveling with his disciples when they came upon a village. The villagers asked for help, but when the monk gave, they didn't show gratitude. In fact, they criticized him. His disciples were furious. How could they do this? After everything you've given. The monk smiled and said, the gift is given. The response is their own. We are not attached to the result. He had no expectation of gratitude, he simply gave freely, and that was enough. This is what living unattached looks like. You give without the need for recognition, you love without the fear of loss, you engage without the pressure of control, and when you do, you experience life with a freedom that comes from within. So, let me ask you, where in your life have you been holding on too tightly? Where have you been chasing an outcome, only to feel frustrated when it doesn't come? Could you begin to live unattached? Could you, just for today, give your best, love fully, and then let go of the result? It's a simple practice. But it takes time, and it requires patience with yourself. Living unattached means embracing each moment for what it is. It's not about what you achieve, it's about how deeply you experience the now, the joy of being, and this is the secret to peace, because when you're not attached to the outcome, you are free to enjoy the journey. And as we close this chapter, I invite you to take one final step, let go of what you think you need, and be here. Now, if you found value in this journey of letting go, I encourage you to subscribe to Zen Buddhism Wisdom for more teachings, insights, and stories to guide you on the path of peace and freedom. Don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with someone who might need it today. And, of course, leave a comment below. What is one thing you're ready to let go of? Let's talk about it. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for being here. Until next time, may you live fully, without attachment, and with a heart that is free.